Guys, welcome to today's episode of Business Talks with Saakshi. And today we have with us Mr. Suresh Shetye. He is a business transformation coach, the founder of Boom Stride, and currently helps businesses take the transforming leap, help them to get unstuck from their business. So if you're stuck in the business web, then this talk show is for you right now, because we are going to discuss few aspects on how you can hire, manage teams, work in your business when it is stuck. So keep watching this video till the end. Do not forget to share, like, and comment while you watch this video. So we welcome you today to our talk show. And today we would like to know about you as to how has been your journey, what you have done, and like what you are doing currently. So how you could take this transforming leap in your own career.
Thank you, Saakshi, for this opportunity, and it's my pleasure. And I really, feel an expression of my gratitude to all the viewers and to you as well. Thank you for this opportunity. When we talk about the journey, it was all about ups and downs. Life is all about ups and downs. We always have, on one hand, a lot of successes, and we also have the failures, and we gain our wisdom from those failures and those, dynamics of experiences. So begin with, I started my career way back in 1981, and, I joined BSc. That was my father's dream, that, I should also join the same organization. That was the thought process of the earlier generation. And my motto was very clear: earn while learn, learn while earn. So I started my career as a commercial trade apprentice. But I had set my vision that I wanted to make it big in my career. And then, having served for almost 8.5 years, then I got into, the private sector. But in the process, I've used the concept called earn while learn, learn while earn. So that was a critical learning of the life. And, sometimes working in the shift duties during daytime, attending full-time, MBA courses and so on. And then finally, I got into the corporates, where I served for almost 33 years, including those 8.5 years. And for last 15 years, I was into HR leadership role. But I was very clear that, I want to get retired, by way of that age of superannuation. I wanted to, start something on my own. So another 6 years to go for the retirement. I, just opted out, and I started my the first organization, which is a proprietary, called Scenarios Management Services, which is more into consulting, business consulting. And I was, doing all consulting and advisory services, for my clients. And last year, I have set up my new partnership firm called Boom Stride. If you look at the total experience, about 40 years plus, 33 years into HR and allied field, and last 7 years into consulting and coaching. But in the process, I got opportunity to work with, a large size, conglomerates, and I got, immense amount of experience. Normally, we see that people who are into HR, they have their, typical growth pattern in terms of their career. But that was not the case with me, because I was so fortunate enough, based on the reliance and the belief that my superiors, my managers, they had in me. So I got opportunity to learn a lot of other areas like total quality management, the Six Sigma, and continuous improvement process, quality excellence process, business excellence process. And that has eventually helped me, to add a lot of value creation for my clients when I started my business consulting and coaching. So like, for example, if I say I'm a Six Sigma champion, I've done my, the formal course, certification course from India Coaching Federation. I'm a master certified coach from India Coaching Federation. And of course, there are a lot of other credentials in terms of learning and development. I did my, soft skill training since 1995, almost 27 years of experience. Today, I can vouch and say, yes, any soft skill program happening anywhere in the world, I'll be able to design that, and I can deliver, to the clients the way they require based on the current scenarios at their business. So on one hand, I would say, when I was in corporate, I did not get much of opportunity to, demonstrate my own potentials that remain untapped. But especially last 7 years journey, I have seen tremendous, scope I got, where I could come out with my 3 books, okay, all dedicated to the vision that I have set for myself, helping the business community to grow their business. And wherever they are, stuck, I need to, inform them, and I need to guide them. I need to just get them out of their stuck business. And this particular books have really of major, supportive, resources for me, because the first book, like The Power of 9 Rules to Accelerate Growth, Blueprint for Business Leaders to Ask and Receive. Like here, it's a combination of business strategy and law of attraction, because I'm practicing law of attraction for last almost 5 years, and it gave me a lot of advantage, benefits in my own personal life as well as for my clients. The second book, Stuck in Business, which is a point of, the bliss, I should say here, in the context of our today's discussion. Stuck in Business, 5 exponential growth hacks to achieve 10x profits. So this is my second book. The third book, which is going to be, it is already launched, but it is, going to be uploaded on Amazon very soon. There's certain, technical things which I have to comply with my, publisher. So that is all about the execution skills. So 3 books, if you see, the element of these 3 books is based on the live case study, live experience, wherever I have provided my consulting and coaching, and how I made a key turnaround using my business strategy skill and law of attraction and other, the people management skill. That is my forte. And how I help the clients to create a major turnaround in their business. So there's no theory. It's all about practical live experience. Only thing, for the sake of, privacy and all, I have, changed the name of the characters and, their company's name and all. But it is phenomenal. And both the books, first 2 books, are bestseller on Amazon. So this is called, short, my introduction about my own career.
Wow, I guess that's an amazing journey, Suresh, that you have lived till now. And definitely, like now, as you said, that you have reshaped your career in a different way. You've reshaped your professional life where, if you see a normal HR person, yes, you rightly said, if you would have continued working with a corporate, it would have been a different scenario, but you chose to start something of your own, and that's how you landed into entrepreneurship. Now, when we talk about different things in a business, like, especially from the point of going solo to enlarging your business perspective, or like having teams involving operations, going towards a larger scope of marketing involving different lines of products. So this is like how normally a business scales. And normally the viewers on our channel who watch our talks are solo entrepreneurs. These are digital entrepreneurs who are running their businesses solely. So what you believe, like, what should be the basic fundamentals while you're trying to move into this change process of being from a solo entrepreneur to exactly an entrepreneur?
See, I would say that it is a choice available to every individual business entrepreneur, whether it's a startup or whether he is, into the family business. Normally we have seen, people, they start on their own. There are some people who move from career, corporate career to the business. They have seen their business dream and they want to start something on their own. There are some people, they said, now let me do something, unique, unusual. So they get into, the solo business entrepreneurship. However, there's a limitation from many angles. And I should say that if somebody decides, unless he feel, okay, now I'm okay in terms of whatever earning that I'm making, whatever the, revenue generation that I'm making, it is okay for me for my survival, then it's fine. But if the person is ambitious, if the person has got his own vision to make it big, or if the person is looking forward to, create his own pathway, then I would strongly recommend that person must get out of this solo entrepreneurship. The reason being, you'll find that 2 types of business entrepreneurs in the world. Anywhere you take any organizations, small or micro and so on. One is business owner, and the second is business operator. What I have seen, most of the, based on my interactions with various clients for the last 7 years and earlier also when I was in corporate, most of the solo entrepreneurs, when they start their journey, they work like a business operator. They never work like, business owner. The reason being, though they have the vision to work like a business owner, but since, they just got 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, that's it. Because the dynamics of any business operations is so vast that you can't be present everywhere at the same time. In order to, save upon more in terms of cost implications, cost saving. Initially, when people don't generate too much of a revenue, they focus on cost saving. So therefore, they will avoid hiring the team, hiring the people, including hiring even a peon. So they will end up doing everything. However, it's good in terms of initial learning because it gives a lot of learning experience, which I remember when I started in around 7 years back. I used to do everything and I got so much exposure. However, if I decide to continue, then I get those restrictions. I get stuck. I will not be able to move because what happens normally in my second book, I have come out with the concept called 85-10-5 principle. It does mean that every business entrepreneur must allocate his 85% time for a strategic role, 10% time for the operational role, and only 5% time he should allocate only for the transactional role. But if you really see, especially in case of most of the solo entrepreneurs, it is other way around. They end up spending almost 85% time, in operational thing, hardly gets any time for the strategy. So they end up, not focusing on their business growth. Okay. So there, people like us who are the subject matter experts, okay, in this business transformation, business change process, ultimately we are driving them to the business growth, exponential business growth. So our support becomes very handy. So my suggestion will be decide your short-term plan, your long-term plan, and then see to it that at what stage you would like to get out of that solo entrepreneurship and start something on your own. When you decide that I'm going to grow, set your business goals in such a fashion where you'll be looking at, year on year, a typical growth of say 25-30%. And then in order to meet those requirements, meet those, business goals, you have to have your team. Go for the team. Yes, here you have to take a risk. A business entrepreneur who is taking the risk is always, going to enjoy the largest benefits of that risk-taking ability. And then I would definitely say, take the risk, arrange for the fund, and make sure that you have, right goals in place, and then you get the right people, right hiring. That is very, very important. Because we have seen in most of the cases, and even in my second book also I have highlighted, first book I have highlighted the case study of Erin Griffith. She had done the research in 2014, and her report was published, international magazine. The report says very clearly that why most of these startups fail. The one reason being because they are unable to manage the bandwidth. And she has listed as many as 20 reasons. But based on my own credentials, based on my own experience of dealing with my clients, I have written as many as 42 reasons as to why startups fail in any of the business anywhere in the world. So one element, which is number two, which Erin Griffith says, number two reason, which accounts for almost 32% of the failure of the startup. It says it was a wrong hiring of the team. So people who are unable to hire the right people for their business, eventually they get failed in their business. So I think these are the words of caution. One should be very focused about at what stage I want to get out of this solo entrepreneurship. Number two, what is my bandwidth? What is my core? What is my skill competence areas in my own areas? Which are the areas where I don't have any requisite skill? How I'll be able to seek help and support, from the experts like us. If now those things are very clear, and of course, when it comes to hiring people, how they'll be able to select the right people. And that is going to create a significant difference for their business. This is all about, your query on a solo entrepreneurship.
Wow. So, as we've seen people, especially like if I talk about, again, coming back to solo entrepreneurs, like where we were speaking that, yes, you rightly said that whenever you need to move out of that shell of doing everything alone, because that will only leave with you with tons of tasks on your task list with hardly 3 or 4 getting fulfilled in a day. Whereas like when you want to grow big, you want to scale up, you want to expand your bandwidth, you have to look at businesses with a different perspective. So like you need to set up your mind. And definitely, as we said, like team building is a very key important term. So my next question is on team building, where like I would really like to know from you, because you have had a great experience into human resources with the corporates, and definitely you understand businesses very well. So would like to know from you, like, what should be the right way of building a team for small businesses? Because hiring a team in an MNC is a totally different kind of a setup that people do. Like, you have a HR person, you have a recruitment process, etc., etc. So there are roles, there are policies, everything is there. But when we talk about small businesses, specifically when you're going from 1% to 5 to 10 or 20, that process is not very well defined. So what should be those 3 or 5 key elements that people can keep in mind, that at least this should be there if I'm not having that high-end hiring process with me as of now?
See, first and foremost thing, when any solo entrepreneur is looking forward to expand his business, obviously he has to think about, what kind of people that he should be looking forward. Okay. So the first and foremost element is that he must decide what is my organizational structure, keeping in mind what are my, short-term and long-term plans. When we talk about short-term plan, essentially it is a 1-year plan. When we talk about long-term plan, it could be in the range of 3 to 5 years. Once he is very clear that this is my short-term plan, this is my long-term plan, and these are my business goals, okay, these are the quantities, volume, and so on, then he has to just arrive at what is going to be my manpower requirement, and that will give him a clear-cut indication in terms of the expected revenue generation from the market and the various kind of services that he is offering or products he is offering. So once he's drilled down on the number of manpower required, then he should start working towards hiring the people. However, the word of caution is that he should not really try to hire a large team. Rather, he should go on on a phase manner, in the sense that what is that minimum essential requirement that I should have. When we talk about minimum essential requirement, the first and foremost begins with you have to have someone in marketing and sales, because unless you generate new business, you will not be able to survive. So that is one area. The second area, you have to have somebody for the accounting system, but not necessarily. If you don't have so much volume, you can always outsource that accounting function. There are a lot of the online professionals are available. They can provide you this kind of service. Even I would not recommend even HR resource unless you have 30 people on roll. So even that area which can be assigned is somebody who is into administration can also take care of this particular aspects. Okay. And then of course day-to-day operations, back office, you have to have. So begin with, even if you have a team of say 5 people, okay, that is well and good, but make sure that each and every person will have enough workload so that they'll be able to allocate 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever the working hours, okay, throughout the month, and they'll be able to create value. That is very important, because we have to ensure that people who join the organization must create the value against the compensation that we are paying to them in the form of salary and perks and so on. So I think this is very important. Initially, ensure that people who are being properly inducted in the organization, they are being properly oriented, and they are being given clear-cut job description. Each of them should be very clear about what is the job expected from them. That clarity has to be there, and then they will be ready based on various support given, including the formal training, understanding about the work culture and so on. So these are the basic things where anybody who is looking forward to move from solo entrepreneurship to to having their own team, they can begin with. But ensure that you have to have a lot of monitoring. Initially, monitoring is essential. Initially, feedback giving is essential, and see to it that whatever the best support given to the respective team members, they deliver the best. That is very important.
I think you have highlighted a very important point here, Suresh, when you said that you need to mentor your people, especially when you are starting small. You have to be with them. So there's one kind of mindset that people think about is like, especially those who come from a startup kind of a mindset, that I need to have a startup. Sometimes people feel that, I have hired, now my job is done. Now all the jobs are on that particular person. But in reality, you can get out the results only when that person understands you and your organization and your vision and mission, like whatever it is, what you want to do at large, so that they're contributing their bit to your organization, to your business, to the customers that you want to serve. So that is a mindset that some of the people have, wherein this needs to be really corrected, because if it's not corrected, this whole thing, it carries on, and years later gets to your knowledge that, the whole organization culture is disrupted and you cannot do anything about it, because everyone is just coming, they're just chilling out, you're just serving out your money, so you're just wasting your money, whereas you're not able to get a proficient team. So my next question to you is, like, when people we see, especially like the entrepreneurs, whenever we take several steps at a specific time, and sometimes it happens like, one is overlapping the other, like we have some marketing initiatives going on, we have a new product being launched, and then suddenly, like, we decided to bring two or three people into the team. We say, yaar, sab akele nahi ho raha, let's bring two or three people together. So whether it be partnerships, whether it be co-founders working together, or whether it be teams, but then what happens is, like, sometimes it's just a mess. It's just like a spider web where, like, you yourself don't know, being the spider, where you have to move, and it becomes a mess, and like, you feel stuck. Now at that point where you have the team, you have the product, you know what you want to market, but still you feel stuck. So, like, what is that actual thing that can help us to move out of this kind of circumstances?
I've seen this, scenario quite often, with my clients, whenever I started, offering my consulting and coaching. And when I did my, certain diagnostic study, okay, so what the first hand information that I gathered was there was no absolute clarity in terms of job role right from the board level. We are not talking about the team's, job clarity. The job clarity, there was a lot of challenges among the board level, whether it's chairman, managing director, director, or the CEO. And what happens, for want of having proper job clarity, they struggle. And then they end up, doing, because of those earlier notions, some possessiveness. When people start their own business, they get little possessive about their, business and each and every activities. Emotionally, they are so much connected that they are not, ready to, give it up in terms of delegation and, asking others to come forward and take up the, the challenge and authority and all. That never happens. And therefore, the first and foremost recommendation would be that board level, they must clear, their job description. Each of the board members should have a clear job description, what chairman should be doing, what director or MD should be doing, what CEO should be doing, so that there is no overlapping. Okay, number one. Number two, there has to be a process of business review, periodical business review. So where are we, where we should be. And of course, the team's involvement, all those elements happens. Third important aspects, what I've seen here, that often we don't monitor or we don't follow. The task is given to the ex team member with the timeline, because based on the commitment given to the customer, the timeline is also given. But often, reporting manager is so engrossed and busy in other activities. Sometimes, that is being, overruled. And then, people don't understand what happened. When the target date is passed, when customers start shouting, then everybody will start from, pillar to post. That is very unusual aspects. So I think essential element is that have a proper planning. If you have a strong, proper planning, especially daily planning and your monthly planning, weekly planning, whatever we say, and if there's an element of, ensuring that somebody is monitoring their own plan, okay, then only it is going to work. At the same time, sometimes we have seen there's a growing tendency of taking too many assignments without knowing the fact that we don't have so much of a capability, or we don't have the resource support or backup. And then we end up, like I always believe in terms of my commitment, if I connect with my client, I always say that, at Boom Stride, we under promise, but we overperform. Whereas there are certain coaches and, consultants, they give, different perspective, other way around. But that never works, because we are here to create 10x value minimum for the clients. And when client is also responsive, when client is also serious, when client is also committed to grow, then we really enjoy that kind of association with such clients.
That's great. I mean, that's something great that you are talking about, because yes, if you don't have a clarity, if you don't have a planning in your business, then definitely that leads to like you can say downfall by default. So that's something that starts happening, because if you are not concentrated yourself on what should be your next move, how will you direct the team that's working with you? So that's the question to ask yourself if you are in such a situation. So if you start feeling stuck, if you don't know how to move out of it, first of all, plan and decide what your team needs to do. That's the key here that we have taken from this conversation. And moving ahead to the next thing that I would like to ask you today is that how we can have a good performance-based work culture in small businesses specifically. Because what happens is, like, in small businesses, we have seen that either the business owners are quite very lenient, or sometimes it just happens that, the main thing or the main mistake that business owners do is, like, we are not getting the teams that we want in our budgets. And that's why what we do is, like, we ask one of our friends to join us, or we ask some of our relatives to join us. So that's how, like, the core team starts forming. Or like, if we meet someone in some of the communities and we ask the person to join us, like, I need you. Now, sometimes these might be fruitful, but in most of the cases, what I've seen is, like, if people are not coming with their own right intentions, then there is a totally different work that's happening in your business and you don't come to know about it. So with small businesses, the challenges that basically I have seen with my clients, like, is like, where they are not able to have a good culture within that team of 5, 8, 10 people that they are working with. Now, when you don't have that culture, you can't take that culture ahead. So that's my problem that happens. And like, that's many entrepreneurs' problem that happens with them. So what's your suggestion is on this, like, how you can have a performance-based work culture in a small business?
Okay. See, it all begins with the vision that is being set by the business entrepreneur for his business. If he has set the vision, then that vision can be really looked into in terms of how we can really year on year achieve our business goals. So all our business goals are linked with the long-term vision. If that is missing, then whatever business you are talking about, or whatever performance management system that we are referring about, is not going to succeed, because every performance management system is driven by the vision of the business entrepreneur. Number one. Number two, it demands high level of discipline at business entrepreneur level, because all transformations, all changes, that always happens from the top. It never happens from the bottom. Business entrepreneur is supposed to be a role model. If he is talking about having a performance-based culture within the organization, then the discipline will start from the business entrepreneur, and obviously because he is the one who is looking forward to achieve his own dream. So what happens when we talk about initiating any system and process? As I said earlier, it demands the the discipline. At the same time, articulation of business strategy, and how you're going to link your business strategy with your vision, and what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Okay? So that SWOT analysis has to be done at the beginning. So based on that SWOT, you get to know as to what are my strong points and which are the areas where I have to make further requirement or improvement. So the point is that wherever you need further improvement, you have to ensure that this becomes a part of your goal system. So then it is a business need-based goal system, right? At the same time, what market demands, what are the expectations of customers, what are the expectations of stakeholders? When you capture those expectations, you put into the goal system, and then that becomes your realistic goal. When we talk about smart goals, of course, but for my own business, for my homestead business, I always talk about concept called MAD goals. MAD goals is something different than SMART goals. Okay, when you set your goals in such a way that people should look at you, oh, this guy is mad. And that's the beauty of your goal system, because you set your standards so high where others can't even believe or accept the fact that this is realistic. Okay, so this is second element. The third element of ensuring that system is successful, you must have your team supporting your dream, your vision. So the concept called the shared vision. Most of the business entrepreneurs, they fail to get this concept called shared vision. Vision remains in their mind. Vision remains only on the wall. They never share with the down the line team. So team is not aware of what is expected from them. So there is no alignment. So one should ensure there is a proper alignment between the shared vision what business entrepreneur is talking about and what team is supposed to deliver. Third aspect is about the level of engagement among the team. Normally, we have seen any corporate anywhere in the world, there are three levels of employee engagements. Number one, the people who are highly engaged. Number two, people who are disengaged. And number three, people who are actively disengaged. Wherever the number of third category is on higher side or the number of second category is on higher side, there's a big challenge for the business entrepreneur to drive his performance work culture, because people who are not engaged due to any reason will not be supporting the vision or the dream of the business entrepreneur. So before introducing performance management system, business entrepreneur must ensure that engagement level of the entire team is high. If it is low, he must try to find out the reason, because this is how people like us, who are expert in people management, we know exactly where the things are going wrong in the organization based on our diagnostic study. Then we recommend these are the areas which you have to improve. These are the areas where you have not taken care of. And then, it really works. And the best thing is about, getting the best out of the team or the people is, be transparent with the people. Often most of the business entrepreneurs, they are not transparent, and they are not so open in terms of communication and sharing what's happening in the business and all. So that always creates an insecurity feeling within the minds of the people. And this is how the disengagement starts. If there's a, because today's generation, if you talk about millennial generation, they are very clear. They are very clear, unlike their, the predecessors or the old generation. So they expect a transparent environment. They expect the reliance. They expect support. They also expect a lot of, training initiatives, learning opportunities, and they also expect a lot of challenging assignments. If you could create the work culture which offers all those things which I have narrated, then your performance management system will be a success. But make sure when you set the goals at the beginning, make sure your goals should be realistic, because otherwise team will not be able to cope up, and then they will lose their confidence and they will simply quit the jobs. So these are the certain elements which any business entrepreneur must keep in mind.
Wow, these are lovely. And yes, as you said, right, that sometimes business owners, they're just constrained within themselves, that they don't open out with their ideas, with what their vision is about their company, and that's like how it results into a misleading or misguided information for the team that's working, because they're not aware of ultimately what this person wants. And this sometimes it leads to like chaos or like misunderstanding or work not happening on time, and this all starts reflecting in the products and services that finally goes to the customer. So yes, there is a difference that starts happening. And then whenever like we have seen that there is a continuous process in a business that's happening, like you have a product, you have your marketing set, you have a small team set, they are doing quite well. Now you want to move to the next step. So like, how is it that businesses should take a leap towards transformation?
Okay, see, normally when we talk about transformation, if you ask me, like my business niche is business transformation coach, right? Ultimate aim of this, the journey is to make sure that, my client becomes successful in terms of achieving his business growth target, whatever he has set for his business. However, it is not so easy to achieve the kind of target that anybody is setting in this world, because it is a combination of so many things should happen at right time, which normally never happens, because being human being, we have a lot of challenges in terms of relationship at workplace, in terms of interpersonal relationship, in terms of the behavior, most of the soft skill related issues, it creates a lot of challenges. But the biggest I should say, the biggest and single most the impacting factor is nothing but the mindset of an individual, the mindset of a business entrepreneur, or the mindset of every team member. When there's a perfect alignment between the mindset of business entrepreneur and the mindset of the team members, the excellence will happen. That is for sure. However, the transformation journey will start from the changes in the mindset, because often we have seen that people who have the mindset which is characterized by, what you call this self-doubting ability. They always have, self-doubts. And then that self-doubt always leads to I can't approach rather than I can approach. So the transformation of the mindset, if you look at my book, second book, where I have written a separate chapter called Boom Mindset. This is my trademark, which I have, developed this new concept called Boom Mindset. It does mean that your mindset should have a clear fundamental foundation of positivity, number one, winning, number three, and warrior mindset. When you have the combination of positive mindset, winning mindset, and the warrior mindset, eventually you end up developing the boom mindset. When you have a boom mindset, everything has to grow, everything has to go up, everything has to scale up to the next level. When a person who is a business entrepreneur develop the boom mindset, he is so charged, he is so inspired that he is always looking forward that come what may, any barrier, any challenge, I will overcome. And when person having such a mind state, you can imagine the kind of encouragement that he'll be providing, kind of motivational environment that he'll be creating for the team. And then if team really pick up well, then there's a perfect alignment. Of course, there is a process of ensuring that you have to have certain policies within the organization, like reward and recognition. If somebody is doing excellent job, there has to be system of recognition, because we have seen, based on the Gallup survey on employee satisfaction, it was clearly held that why people leave. People leave for various reasons, but one of the major reasons is that he was not being acknowledged and recognized for whatever the best contribution that he has made to the company. So we have to ensure that there has to be proper policies in place. There has to be freedom to operate. There has to be, a lot of support in terms of training and development. And then of course, career growth option, timely promotions and so on. And of course, employee well-being and satisfaction, a lot of schemes can be introduced. And then it creates, a lot of positive energy within the minds of the people and the team. And then they become engaged employees. If you really look forward to create a succession pipeline, then it is very much essential, because your future leaders will come from that succession planning, the future leadership pipeline. And it is very essential when such leaders you are looking forward to develop from within the organizations. You have to create a positive environment where people will feel that, because people are not working only for the sake of money. Money is one of the factor, salary is one of the factor, but otherwise, organizations like Google, there would have not been any single exit or attrition. They are, giving so many benefits. But the fact is that people are not working only for the sake of money, but there are other elements when it comes to career, growth for any employees. That's what I wanted to share about my thoughts.
Amazing thoughts on that, Suresh. And I guess, yes, the viewers who are watching us right now, they must have got a clarity of what you should do with the teams, how you should build them, what clarity you should have as an entrepreneur if you really want to take that transformation leap. So this conversation has been really very interesting. And now I would definitely like to know what you do when you promise transformation to the business owners at Boom Stride.
Okay. Keeping in mind the interaction that I had with different type of business entrepreneur, whether it's a solo, with somebody with 2 crore business, somebody with 100 crores business. I got the opportunity to interact with various the business entrepreneurs, and the first and foremost thing which I observe is that if business entrepreneur is serious to achieve whatever the dream that he has set for himself or herself, it is possible. I mean, nobody can stop him. However, it demands a lot of transformations. And the process of transformation, as I said earlier, it starts from the mindset. And therefore, when I got inspired based on my experience, and it so happened that some of my clients, they approached me and said, hey, why don't you, pen down your thought process about whatever, the experience that you had about carrying out the transformation. Like someone who had recommended this, why don't you write this book, is the one with whom I'm associated for last almost 4 years. where he said very clearly when he started 16 years back, before my association, he had only 5 crore turnover per annum. But based on the transformation journey, when I took them into confidence, the entire board of directors, he is a chairman and he has got his 2 directors. We made such a fabulous transformation process that he has moved from 5 crore per annum to 30 US million dollar. That's the massive, the transformation happens in terms of growth. What is called real sense is the exponential business growth. So this is one of the best case study which I always refer to my other clients. That if he can, you can. But the process is not so easy. Let me have a word of caution. It is not difficult. It is not impossible. But at the same time, there will be a lot of ups and downs. There will be a lot of challenges in the course of this, navigation path. If the business transformation process is being taken care of on a serious note, the business entrepreneur will have a lot of success. That is for sure. Because what we do basically, we make sure that ultimately their business pain areas, we help them to identify those business pain areas. We decide the priorities in terms of the short-term goal, long-term goal, and the strategy. And then we capture those, business pain areas in the, business goal and business performance management system. And then we make sure that, it is being implemented. The biggest challenge I have seen with most of the business entrepreneurs is not about, creating or defining the strategy. The major challenge what I have seen is their inability to implement execution. So recently I got an opportunity to deliver, keynote in one of the large forum of crowd of around 300 plus crowd, where the topic of my keynote was, the secret of 1% global execution experts community, because I belong to that 1% execution experts community. And, this is all about, because 99% people, they start their journey, they get sucked up somewhere, they are unable to move. There are some people, they never start their journey, those who are a part of 99%. And the third category, they have a lot of, dreams in their mind. But the challenge is, in terms of what is that I wish. The first one is, what is that I wish? Number one, what is that I would like? And the third is, what is that I want? The people who belongs to 1% community of execution experts, they belong to the category third, what I want. It's not what I would like or what I wish, because wish remains wish as a wish list. And then like remains, in a liking list. There are so many things I like, or, anybody likes, but that never gets captured. So unless you said what I want. So my first question to my client will be, a potential client, what do you want? If you could answer, then it's fine. If he's unable to answer, then I help him to define what he wants. Because ultimately, one has to define in the journey called why. What is my why? If I don't know what is my why, I will not be able to reach to my destination. There's a proverb in Chinese language. Okay, if you don't know your destination, you take any road and that will lead to the desired road destination you are looking at. However, when you reach that destination, you get to know, oh, I have come to the wrong destination. Then you have to take, reverse turn. That's how, life goes on.
We have seen like you talking about the vision, or like, what an entrepreneur thinks. So like, since you are an entrepreneur too, this would be my question, and this is a traditional question that we ask everyone coming up on Business Talks with Saakshi. So the question is like, what is your vision for Boomstride, and like how you are moving towards achieving it? So what's new that you're going to do in the next years to come?
Yeah. Thank you, Saakshi, for this brilliant question. When I decided to move out of corporate, I was highly paid HR professionals, where I was posted. But that was not the inspiration for me. The inspiration was that the kind of wisdom that I have gathered over the years. If I really look at, the book written by Todd Henry, okay, Die Empty. Die Empty is a book written by Todd Henry. He said very clearly that there is only one place in the world where a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, is buried. And that place is nothing but cemetery. Why? Because people who gain so much knowledge, information, wisdom, before they die, they did not share with others. So this is one key learning for me. And I'm here, whatever, the wisdom, knowledge, experience that I've gathered over 40 years of my association with corporate as well as my business coaching profession. I'm here to share with others, with my clients, with my, network, in the form of the books that I'm writing. If you see my strike rate, every year I'm writing one book. I started my first book in 2020. I've launched 2021. I launched second book. 2022 is the third book. And my fourth book is also very clear. Has got nothing to do with the business strategy and all. The fourth book which I have planned based on, again, the request came from my client, is how to select a right candidate. That's the title of my book, which I'm going to start writing very soon. The point what I was trying to highlight here, that yes, I have set the vision. The vision is to help those who are in need of that. So therefore, I have set my personal vision, addressing my why. It is very clear, to help 1 million business owners to grow wealth, improve cash flow, and create a life of abundance. So these are the 3 areas for which I am working very hard, for my clients, for those who are looking forward. And this is the one vision of Boomstride we have set for ourselves. And arising out of that vision, we have set our value system, we have our vision, we have our mission, and we work towards it. But the point is that we are very clear that the transformation journey is a long-term process. It is not an overnight journey. Okay, nor it is like a fly-by-night courier kind of things. Okay, it demands patience, it requires time. But if somebody is willing to devote time for minimum 2 to 3 years, then I can assure any client anywhere in the world to create the wonderful business scenarios based on whatever the target that business entrepreneur set for himself. Okay, we have strategy, we have tools, and very important, we have all resource support. Because I was very clear about my understanding that whenever I start my consulting and coaching business, I said very clearly, I should be ahead of my clients at least by 5 years. If my client is in 2022, I should be sitting in 2027 as to what is his requirement in 2027 and how I'll be able to cater to the needs of those 5 years long-term strategy. And that has given me tremendous amount of success. And therefore, whenever I conduct my webinars, I have 3 levels of webinars, I do provide this support to the clients. So this is very, very important aspects when in terms of when we decide what is our vision. Yes, it is the vision where I'm going to create the influence and create the impact on that 1 million business owners, whether they are micro, small or medium, and whether they are from the CEOs in the corporate. Okay, because I've got exposure of working with various sectors, and that was phenomenal, where for me sector is not a challenge. Okay, because people are everywhere, people are same, they have their own challenges. And most of the challenges I've found at the workplace, even you'll agree with me, it is in personal life and family life also, and the social life is about the relationship. Relationship is one important reason where things sometimes are not moving the way it should be. So this is my vision, and I'm working very closely. Wherever you will find the alignment, whether I design my online course, it is again linked with my clients. It is linked with my vision. Whatever webinar that I deliver, it is linked with my vision. Whatever books I write, it is linked with my vision. Ultimately, the end user is my client, the business owners, and how I can make his life beautiful, how I can create a feel of delight for my clients. That really helps me to keep myself inspired.
So that was amazing to listen to you, Suresh. And all the viewers who have been watching this video, I guess they must have got beautiful insights on how businesses can be really transformed. You can really scale them up, bringing them up to another level. And if you feel that if you have some questions still that are unanswered, do not hesitate to write down in the comment section, because we would be there to answer those. Thank you, Suresh, for being with us here today on this day and helping us to take this leap in the business transformation. Thank you so much for being
Thank you, Saakshi. One closing note before we close. I would like to just say my gratitude to all my viewers who are watching this particular, discussion, and to you as well. But I would say that, it is my sincere efforts, and therefore I had two, YouTube channels. One is in English and second is in Marathi. We have made the consistent contribution. Say, if I look at, from 1st October 2021, every Friday at 7 p.m. I upload two videos, one in English and second for Marathi, because that is basically for the, business owners in, Maharashtra, okay, for their understanding. And our strike rate is 100%. As I mentioned, I'm a part of that 1% action taker in the world. Strike rate is 100%. Till date, we have not missed a single Friday, and you'll find more than 100 videos are available in both the channels together. So if they are really interested, they can also visit my channel, Suresh Shetye. Okay, they simply type Suresh Shetye. They'll be able to get access to YouTube channel. And believe me, there's a lot of information available on business management skill, which is one of the weakest area of most of the business entrepreneurs. So if they are interested to know what is business management skill, they can visit my channel and they'll be able to get a lot of good material, short videos, and that will really help them. Looking forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your considerable help that you have been giving to everyone who's trying to create an impact in another's life. That's what we entrepreneurs do. Like, we try to create a value-based product or service where, like, we expand our help, we expand our horizons, and we take it forward. We share it with the universe, we share it with the people, and try to bring around a change. So thank you so much for helping us in this transformational journey, joining us today in today's talk show, and we'll see you again. Thank you. As a business owner, I have been through journeys of ups and downs. I have been through a journey where my physical health was not supporting my mental health, and that both started conflicting and it started affecting my business. I know many of you are in such situations. I know we are in such situations as a solo business entrepreneur where we get stuck at one place and we find it very difficult to move on. Fortunately, I had mentors in my life who supported me always and helped me at every stage of my business. I could get this, but I know many people don't get this all. I could relate to the concept because I was from a corporate background, but I know the pains of the people who are not from a corporate background. They have never done jobs, but they start with a business model. Now, if you are someone who is a solo entrepreneur running the business solely, then I have something for you. Here is a book that I have curated specially for solo entrepreneurs and small business owners. We have some motivational stories, some business secrets revealed by some of the top entrepreneurs who are successfully doing their business today. Right away, just click down in the description box, click on the link and grab your copy today.